How are you doing today? Listen, I almost didn't make this video because I realized, it's probably going to trigger slash have caused disagreement with about 100% of my audience on both sides of the equation. And so, what I'm talking about is what self acceptance, shadow work, woke culture get wrong about mental health and some of the things that they get right. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying this: I'm a Christian, uh, very conservative, more libertarian leaning on things. I'm very supportive of mental health and therapy as far as that goes because it's changed my life. It's helped revolutionize and give me more clarity and the ability to have the courage to talk about things in the face of not worrying what anybody else thinks about me, whether I offend people. And that's really the biggest thing, is I want to share that with you. And so as I was going on that journey for the last 6 years, learning about myself, learning about how I can grow and heal from trauma and abuse and things that I was dealing with, I came to find a lot of teaching on these different topics of self-acceptance. And even in our culture, we have a lot that's going on, woke culture around mental health and how being politically correct and having respect for people and that everybody, they don't need to change, they're just the way they are. And then even shadow work, there's a lot of teaching in Buddhism around mental health and self-acceptance and how you are present and nothing in your life needs to change and you're just perfect how you are, that type of stuff. And that's what I think really kind of gets it wrong. Here's what I think is right about that, okay? I'm going to share what I think is right and then what is wrong. I'm actually going to go in reverse order. I believe that to heal and to grow, you need to unconditionally accept yourself for how you are and not believe that you have to change or be somebody different in order to grow, comma. And this is where I believe that those other ways of doing things and a lot of the teaching that's out there, even in New Age, Buddhism, shadow work, inner healing, woke cult, that type of stuff, gets it wrong, is that then it stops there. You just accept everybody. We're all good. We're all happy. We never improve because improvement is bad, because then even defining stuff as bad and good is wrong, because if we define things, it might offend people if we define people as bad or good, and that we should accept our shadow parts. They're never going to change. It's wrong to want to heal those things, and we should just learn to operate in the framework that fits best into how we were born, the society that we were raised in, and our lot in life, and the culture that we grew up in, that we should never try to grow or move or progress into anything else, and that to do so is a very unhealthy thing to do, and that people that perpetuate moving from a place of self-acceptance and becoming the best version of themselves, that those people are actually wrong and abusive and are abusers. And so that's what I believe that those types of teachings get wrong, is that we just accept ourselves how we are, and that to improve, to become a better version of ourselves, to make more money, even some of this is rooted in Marxism, it's wrong. And that people are bad if they go beyond a certain level of where they started at, and that if they go past where their friends and family are, because then it might make their friends and family feel guilty or threatened if they gain a certain level of privilege. It's a load of crap. It really is. But what I like that I discovered, that I learned, is this. There are parts of us that came from trauma, that came from hurts, that came from bullying, that came from abuse, that came from mistreatment, unfair things, injustices, that create stuff in our brain that wire us in a way to react to certain things in a certain way. And so when we can start to fully accept ourselves as we are, that we don't have to change who we are in order to be good enough to move forward. This is the part that I think is so good about this teaching, is you have to accept yourself. I don't need to change one little bit of how I am today in order to grow into who I want to be. And that's what I think gets it right. Because I have the goal to grow and to change by choice, not because it's forced on me. But I do believe that it's very important for us as people to not just, well, this is how I am, this is my lot in life, and I'm going to wait until I die and nothing's going to change, and I'm just going to at least cope, survive, let the government pay for everything for me. Hopefully they pay for my housing. I never have to pay a landlord again, and I'm just going to accept that this is the life that I live. I was abused and it was tragic. Nothing's ever going to change, and I'm just going to continue and perpetuate this cycle. That's a load of crap. That's dangerous thinking to operate in that way. Well, these shadow parts of me, I'm just going to continue to be somebody that operates that way if those people trigger me in that way, and they better know. And I accept that dark side of me is a part of me that's never going to change. It's a load of crap. It really is. And so for me, I've had to learn about my mental health, and all the books that I recommend and all the resources that I recommend are around this topic of how can I learn about myself, learn how I react to the world, learn from how I was treated, how others people were treated, learn to not make the mistakes of other people, to be abusive, to cause injustices, to create trauma in other people's lives. And how can I become a better version of myself than I am today by choice so that I can live and operate and reach my fullest potential? Now, that is the message that I fully agree with. And what I found is in learning about shadow work and especially if you dive into any sort of new age healing / that's connected to Buddhism, it teaches that, there is no purpose. There is no reason to do anything greater than what you're doing today, because it's all just is. And I was like, okay, that sounds nice. I mean, that's a great recipe to just create mindless drones that sit around all day taken care of by the government. And people that are easily controlled. But what I think is a better framework is we accept how we are. We accept outcomes. I fully agree with that. I'm not trying to change another person, by the way. I'm not trying to change what they do. Oh, you're doing something I don't like. I accept that about you. I don't need to change you. I think that's actually biblical. That's actually found in the Bible. That's what Jesus did. And he invited people into a greater place of growth spiritually. That they don't have to stay the same, but it's by choice. It was a gift that was given to people. And so, my friends, around mental health and around trauma and around all of that, I think that it starts with self-acceptance. It starts with being aware of what is going on in our world around us. It starts by identifying the parts of you that are not serving your goals, that are not serving how you want to live your life. And sometimes your goals change. My goals have changed over the years. But coming at it from a place of how can I improve to be the best version of myself for me, for my family, for my friends, for my wife? How can I operate in a way that is kind, loving, and compassionate to others, but is not a doormat, is not entitled, is not expecting other people to take care of me, and instead takes personal responsibility? You see what's behind me? Who's responsible? Taking personal responsibility is the framework behind this. And I think that there's good in a lot of these different messages, but I think it's very dangerous to say that we just sit in our pain, we sit in our trauma. There's no way of improving. We just accept it. We always accept it. It's never going to change. We never want to improve because it all just is good, and it should never be anything different than it is. I think that that's a load of crap, my friends. And that's what a lot of the teaching that's going on around here, especially around mental health, is just perpetuating, keeping people in the same dangerous, toxic cycle that they've been in for so long and not improving. It's just perpetuating the trauma. You're thinking about the same trauma and what happened to you And basically, you're re-traumatizing yourself doing this. Instead of, how can I look at, okay, this is what happened to me. What can I learn from it? Now, here's a hard one. How did I contribute to that trauma? Not how did I contribute to what somebody did to me. Those are two very different things. The trauma is based off of beliefs, and that's where a lot of people get it messed up. I'm not saying that you contributed to what was done to you, but the beliefs that happen, those are our personal responsibility to take care of, and we can get help from people, from therapists, from coaches, from mentors, from people that really have our back, and not everybody has your back. You don't want to talk to every single friend that wants to listen. A lot of people especially might be using you by doing that. Be aware of narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths, my friends. But when we can explore and look at, okay, what's going on in my life that's not working? And how can I improve to be the best version of myself? I think that's a very healthy thing. And I think that that can help change the world in a positive way. And I think these messages that we're just, it just is how it is. It's a crappy place and we're just going to survive till we're off this rock. And you know, these messages, never bring a child into this horrible world as how it is. I want to bring a child into this world to make a difference. And that's the thing, my friends, like, make a difference. Instead of just sitting in your little club of sadness. It changes everything. It changes everything, all right? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Love to hear your comments. Talk soon, everybody. Have a good one.